People, which topics did we do in geography?
Teacher, for us, we looked at the graphs, presenting the data on graphs. Then we also reviewed field work. And then we looked at line graphs, back.
Please, we are joining the breakout rooms. Those dining in.
I think I know the areas. Mr. Steven, I'll see you here. You please.
We can start, Mr. Peter. We can start.
Anyone else? Email, what did you do?
Teacher, for us, we looked at photographic interpretation. We looked at field work, the earth movements that contain rotation and revolution. And we ended when we've already looked at that of revolution, and we're going to a new chapter. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you too. Anyone else? We are sharing what we did at school. Email, your hand is still up. You want to tell us something? Esther? Favor, Esther? Unmute.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon. In our school, we looked at photographic interpretation. We looked at field work. And after that, we looked at the rotation of the earth.
Rotation of the earth. Okay. So I want to find out from us, how many of us looked at weather and climate?
Madam, we looked at it.
You looked at weather and climate?
Yes.
Okay. Mitch, what did you look at?
Teacher, your mic is muted.
Okay, so I'm saying we want to move on. My focus is going to be on weather and climate, which I thought what most of us done. But looking at how people have drawn the different graphs, and probably that is more to do with statistics, which we had done. You remember the other time during the lockdown, we looked at how all those different graphs are drawn. We looked at photographic interpretation. So meaning that when you went back to school, you were actually revising what we had done. So today I want us to put our focus on weather and climate. Okay, we shall have our discussion from there and we see how much we know and probably what we can think about, okay? Okay, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so those are the topics according to the abridged curriculum, the things that we should have looked at in senior 2. Of course, some of them are senior 1 topics and others are senior 2 topics, but definitely we'll have to look at both so that we see that we cover the S1 work and then we're also able to cover some of the S2 work. So I started with weather and climate, and when we look at weather and climate, our basis is mainly in East Africa, but also the entire world, okay? Then we had the climatic zones and types in the world. We had climatic change. I know we have heard about climate change, and probably we need to go into a discussion of this one. Some of us have done introduction to East Africa and probably mining in East Africa. But I've seen that from the presentation or from what we have said, we actually looked at uses of maps and how to come up with geographical information. What do we use? Yes, we use the maps to come up with geographical information. We use photos, so we looked at photographic interpretation. We can also go out there in the field to gather information, to gather geographical information, and that is field work, which I know most of us have gone through, okay? Again, you would find that even with weather, we can use photographs. And then from those photographs, we shall be able to tell the different climatic zones and probably the different climatic regions. Again, I want to ask, under weather and climate, how many of us from the statistics that we did in our different schools, how many of us were able to look at the climatic graph, how to draw a band line graph? Ruth, you talked about statistics. Did you happen to have looked at the climatic graph and how it is drawn?
Not yet. We based on the simple line graph instead.
The simple line graph.
Yes.
But did we do it last time during COVID?
No, we didn't.
We didn't, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, because this is very important when it comes to weather and climate, okay? So probably we might end up going through how to draw a climatic graph before even going through weather and climate. But let's begin with a definition. If someone asked you to define weather, what definition would you give? Anyone willing to define weather? Yes, Joy? Joy, unmute.
Weather is a daily condition recorded for a short period of time.
Okay, Joy is saying that weather is a daily condition recorded for a long period of time. Joshua, what do you have to say?
Teacher, I think weather is the state of the atmosphere at a given place at a given time.
Okay, so Joshua is saying it is a state of the atmosphere of a given place at a given time. Joshua, when you say at a given time, you're not being specific. You need to be specific on the time that we are talking about. When you say at a given time, can it be a year? Can it be 20 years or even 30 years? So this is why I'm saying you need to be specific in your definition, okay? And then Joy, yours, you said it was the daily condition at a given time. Then my question is, daily condition of what? Okay, again, there are some words that are missing from your definition. Mackenzie. Mackenzie, yes?
Weather is the daily atmospheric conditions of a specific place at a given period of time of the day.
Oh, at a given period of time of the day. So Mackenzie is saying that weather is the daily condition of a place at a given period of time in a day, okay? But remember, we have already used the word daily in our definition. So when we say daily, yes, it is something that is recorded every day. Ime, what do you have to say?
What I have to say about weather is that it refers to the state of the daily conditions in the atmosphere of a given place recorded for a short period of time.
So did we hear Ime's definition? Yeah, she's saying it is for a period of time. I'm taking that last bit of it, okay? She said that it's recorded for a short period of time. Then, Ime, if I may ask us, this goes to the entire team. When you say for a short period of time, again, I'm saying you're not being specific. How short should that period be? I'm saying that how short should that period be? Because are we taking hours? Are we taking days? Are we taking months? Are we taking years? Because to some people, even 2 years might be a short period of time, okay? So again, we need to work on that definition. Favor.
Weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a particular time of the day.
Okay, it's the condition of atmosphere at a particular time of the day. Good. And from Favor's definition, we are saying that when she says a particular period of time in the day. So first of all, we are noting it is the daily condition, okay? Because it is recorded every day. However, she's bringing in that aspect that weather should be recorded at a specific time. For instance, when you decide to take your reads every day at 11 a.m., you should be able to do that every day at 11 a.m. Don't change and today it is 11 a.m., then the other day it is maybe 5 p.m. Then the recordings would not be proper. You need to stick to one specific time when your readings are going to be taken. Okay? Yes, Ruth?
Weather is the state of atmosphere of a place over a short period of time, usually a day.
Kindly repeat, someone was disturbing my network.
whether the state of atmosphere of a place over a short period of usually day.
Okay. So now every day, okay? That's weather recorded every day, and therefore, like people have defined, we are saying it is a daily. What are elements of weather? So the first one we have wind. Okay. Any other? Judith?
Teacher, we have rainfall.
We have rainfall. I hope you are listing them. Okay.
Yes.
One, we had wind, then we have rainfall. What else? Joshua?
Sunshine.
We have sunshine. Thank you. Mackenzie?
We have cloud cover.
We have cloud cover. Thank you. Favor?
Air pressure.
Temperature? Joy? Yes, Joy, we can't get you. Joy, I didn't hear what you said.
Humidity.
Humidity. Any other, Ime?
Shall we have sunshine?
Favor? Sunshine, thank you. Someone mentioned sunshine. Favor?
Atmospheric pressure.
We have atmospheric pressure. And lastly, Joy.
Madam,
Joy, I didn't hear what you said.
fog.
Fog. Okay. So those are elements of weather, okay? And probably the task you'd have is for you to go out there and look for how these elements are made, okay? Because taking you to the next slide, we are saying in this type of weather and climate, the competence you are supposed to achieve is that at the end of this topic, you should be able to understand the elements of weather, not only understanding the elements of weather, but how measured, which instruments are used, and how they recorded, and in which units, okay? Then you would also need to know factors that influence weather of an area, okay? So we have mentioned and we have listed the different weather elements. So the task you have is to look out for one, how the different elements are measured. For example, rainfall, how is it measured? For them to know the amount of rainfall received in a day, what is it that they're supposed to do, okay? Judith, you have a question?
Teacher, I think we place the rain gauge in the soil.
Okay. So now we are noting that for us to be able to know the amount of rainfall received in a day, the instrument used is known as a rain gauge, not so? And therefore, you need to take us through the process. How does a rain gauge work? Probably we should look at this one. How does it work? Joshua, your hand has gone down. That's getting to you. Joshua, could you come back and ask your question? Oh, it was Mackenzie. Okay, Mackenzie, go ahead.
The first of all, the instrument used is a rain gauge. So this rain gauge should okay, the rain gauge should be put in the soil, like let's say should be like that is whenever it rains, okay, let me repeat. We use the rain gauge first of all. So the rain gauge put in the soil, but 30 centimeters above. So whenever it rains, the water
above the what? Mackenzie, 30 centimeters above what?
Above the ground. So
should it be above
rains,
or below?
Above the ground.
Okay.
So whenever whenever it rains, the water collected. The water collected there in the rain gauge is then used. Okay, is then got, and then you can know the amount of rain received in that area. So then the reason why it should be also above the ground is because if it is like on the same level of the ground, like you put it flat, like in the same level of the ground, either or either it's in a hilly, on a hilltop, so the water will keep on flowing inside the rain gauge, and there you can't know the amount of water, the amount of rain that you have received in that area.
Okay, thank you. So people, I hope you heard that as you're trying to come up with the rain gauge, yes, you're going to put it into the ground, but we're saying it should be 30 meters above the ground. And the reason is we don't want that other water that has reached the ground to splash into the rain gauge. We are interested in the rain droplets, okay? Not what has already gone into the ground. And then in addition to that, maybe the soil itself can also be eroded into the rain gauge, and then it would not be able to function well. Judith, yes, Judith. Judith, unmute. We are still looking at the rain gauge. What else can you say about the rain gauge? Ime?
In addition,
Ime, go on.
Okay, I was trying to say that another thing, that when measuring the amount of rainfall, the rain gauge is placed in an open area. The reason why it's placed in an open area is that to prevent the obstacles like trees and maybe houses. It's like to prevent them so that they may not be obstacles to the rain to go down into the rain gauge.
Okay, thank you very much. So Ime is also reminding us that as we are putting up the rain gauge, we should make sure we put it in an open place where there are no obstacles, okay? For example, there are no trees, there are no buildings. Otherwise, those would affect the raindrops to get into the rain gauge. So we are saying it should be in an open place. Therefore, as you're putting up a weather station, be mindful where you're going to position the rain gauge. There's nothing that is going to obstruct the raindrops from getting into the rain gauge. Okay, Ruth.
Okay, teacher. I think even this rain gauge, it has it is consisted of a metallic case which is placed under the soil.
Okay, into the ground, okay? So yeah. Judith is also reminding us that the materials that they normally use to make the rain gauge, they're actually metallic. Okay? But for demonstration purposes, you might find those that have used plastic materials to use paper, but at the end of the day, we are saying it should be metallic materials that you are going to use to construct the rain gauge. Okay? So how do we measure the water? How do we measure the water?
Teacher, before we go to that, I'm going to also still ask. I had another point on why it is sunk into the ground. And as Judy talked about it being metallic, it is sunk into the ground to avoid evaporation from the sun's heat. So it will let the heat be absorbed into the soil, and then this water will remain as it is. Then after 24, what I also wanted to add on is that when it rains, rainwater is collected in that jar or bottle through the funnel. And after 20, the water in the bottle in the measuring cylinder. Indicates the amount of rainfall received in that day.
So one, we are getting from what Ruth is saying. First of all, we are saying that when you place it into the ground, it would stop stand there and wait for the rain to stop. You go and so that you can measure it. Remember, we said the weather is recorded at a specific day. So if, for example, I recorded my weather at 11 a.m. and that's at 3 p.m., it will have to wait till 11 to get and to measure it, okay? Then also talked about the funnel, that we must also use the funnel as we're constructing the rain. And my question goes to anyone in the class. Where funnel? Where do we put the funnel? Yes, Judith.
Teacher, it is placed on top of the metallic cylinder.
Top of the metallic cylinder, the bottle that is also inserted in the rain gauge into the ground, okay? Then again, someone talked about the measuring cylinder. How do we use that one now? Gilbert, you want to tell us how we use the measuring cylinder? Gilbert, you have disappeared. Yes, Ime.
Our teacher, after the end of the rain, like after it has stopped raining and you're sure all the raindrops are fully collected in the rain gauge, then you bring out the measuring cylinder and pour out like the water in the rain gauge. You pour it in the measuring cylinder fully, and then you read, because that measuring cylinder will be calibrated in millimeters. Then you read from the measuring cylinder.
Okay. So we are saying you collect in a jar or in a bottle and use the measuring cylinder to measure to see the amount of rainfall received. Of course, it has units on it and you'd be able to read them off. Those units are in which someone has talked about, the measuring cylinder has units that are in millimeters. And my question is to everyone in the class, why millimeters? Why not milliliters? Why not milliliters? Why are we saying millimeters? Yes, Jesha?
Teacher, we say millimeters because we are measuring how deep the water as the raindrops have entered into the ground, how much raindrops have been collected.
Okay, thank you very much. That we are looking at the depth of how much water has gone into the ground. So that is very important because sometimes people think that water is in a liquid form and therefore it should be measured in milliliters, but we are saying this one, our interest is mainly with the depth. How deep has it gone into the soil? And that is why it is measured into millimeters. Okay. Ruth, did you have the same answer?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So after that, we are saying then you have to record, okay? You have to go on and record the amount of rainfall. So meaning you must have a recording book. Remember, this is something that you have to do every day. So you keep recording, and then in the math, you should be able to tell us how much were you able to get, okay? That is weather. Yes, we have the other instruments, sunshine, we have temperature, we have, there are very many weather elements. But like I said, the task I'm giving you is to look at all those different elements. First of all, you draw a table. In that table, you must have a column for the elements, you list them, the instruments used, and then the units in which they are recorded, okay? That is very important. Make sure you come up with that table or that chart that would guide you. And I know for us who have not done that in school, you'd be able to do it and it would be a revision for you. The climate. What is climate? We have defined weather. Now, what is climate? Gilbert.
Is the state of atmosphere that is recorded in an area for a wide or long period of time.
Okay, so Gilbert is saying it is a state of atmosphere less recorded for a long period of time. That is what Gilbert is saying. Mackenzie, what do you have to say?
Climate is the average weather. Climate is the average weather condition of most period of time.
Average weather condition of the atmosphere measured and recorded for a long period of time. I don't know if something is missing in that definition. People, what do you think? Judith, you had something to say. What is missing in that definition? Yes, Ruth?
We know climate, and when we talk about climate, we look at the types. For example, we have mountain climate, and when we say that it's the average weather condition in the atmosphere, we're talking about a space, but not the condition brought by the area. So to live in atmosphere is mandatory for us to area. Yes.
So how would you define climate?
As for me, I would define climate as the climate is the average weather condition of an area recorded for a long period of time, 5 years above.
Okay, thank you very much. Mackenzie, when I look at your definition and then Ruth's definition, you just missed one word, the area, okay? Or a place, because I could say that climate is the average weather condition of a place recorded for a long period of time. Judith, for you, what is your definition?
No, teacher. I just wanted to inquire whether it is like, maybe is it from 35 years and above? Because my teacher told me. Years and above.
Actually, I don't know why your teacher said that, but I'm thinking maybe for you, it is you who is not getting the years right. But we are saying climate is the average weather condition of a place recorded for a long period of time, usually 30 to 35 years. We actually not saying 35 and above. Yes, when you say 25 and above, yes, 30 is above 25, but 28 might also be above 25, okay? So we'll be specific and we'll say between 30 to 35 years. Remember, for weather, we said it is recorded daily. And then climate, we are saying it is recorded over a long period of time. Try to see what Mitch has to say. Mitch.
Teacher, I'm confused. At some point you said it was recorded for a short period of time, and now it's for a long period of time. Which is which?
Mitch, we are looking at climate right now, not weather. Okay? So we moved away from weather, and now we are looking at climate. It is weather that is recorded for a short period of time, but even that one we said, you really need to be very specific. What do you mean by a short period of time? It is recorded daily, okay? But for climate, we are saying it is recorded over a long period of time. And we have even stated the time. So even in your definition, people, when you are doing climate, you should go ahead and give those years. Between 30 to 35 years. But if you're not very sure, then don't commit yourself, okay? You just say over a long period of time, okay? What are the main elements of climate? Elements of climate, remember we looked at the elements of climate. Gilbert.
Temperature and precipitation.
Temperature and precipitation. Now, what is precipitation?
This is the form in which moisture falls from the sky.
Okay. So we are saying it is a temperature and precipitation, or temperature and rainfall. Okay. Hilary, what do you have to say? Your hand has gone down. Please come back. Either you had a question or you had a submission. Yes. Please unmute.
I had a submission.
Okay, go ahead.
Atmospheric pressure.
Atmospheric pressure. That one is for weather. Okay. That one is, yes, it is an element, but an element of weather. When we talk about climate, we have two main elements. That is rainfall and temperature. However, someone can also talk about humidity and water vapor. Okay? But usually the main two that we talk about are rainfall and then temperature. I know we shall be looking at the other topics under the human geography, and you'd be looking at influence those activities, and you talk about climate. So when you talk about climate, again, you don't talk about temperature and you don't talk about rainfall, because when you do that, you'd have 3 points, but they all mean the same. You talk about temperature and climate and rainfall, you're actually talking about climate, okay? And of course, we have seen how rainfall is measured, and we have to go ahead and discuss how temperature is also measured. Can someone tell us how temperature is measured? Which instrument, in which units? Yes, Joy.
Temperature is measured using thermometer.
Temperature is measured using thermometer. Okay, which type of thermometer?
Maximum mercury thermometer.
The maximum or the thick thermometer, okay? For us to be able to measure temperature. If I may ask, is there anyone who has ever taken their temperature or someone's temperature here? I'm seeing Judith and Hilary, your hands are up. Are you saying you have done this? Talk to us, okay? Anyone who has measured someone's temperature or their temperature? Mitch, tell us, what did you do?
The thermometer, I pressed it and the person's armpits, pressed the metallic part and the armpits and gave me the reading.
And it gave you the readings. How long did it take?
Yes.
Mitch, how long did it take you to get the readings? And anyway, how did you know that it was ready to give you the units? Gilbert?
We use the thermometer in a laboratory experiment. When you are measuring the
how
heat,
do you use it?
You put the part where the mercury is in the bulb. You put the bulb in the hot liquid, then the mercury will start rising until it stops. Then you read off where it has stopped.
Okay, thank you very much. That is in the laboratory. But what about someone's temperature? How do we do it? Yes, Hilal.
Yeah, I've ever taken someone's temperature
from
a hospital.
Have you ever worked in a hospital?
No, I've never, but I've never been there. Do you want me to tell you the way how it's done, or?
Yes, please.
Well, I first got the thermometer. First checked it whether it had some disabilities. Put my patient, put the thermometer under the patient's armpit. It took about 2 minutes, and then the results were back.
Okay. How did you know that the results were ready?
The thermometer made a sound like tee.
Thank you. Because that is what I was waiting for, that the thermometer would definitely notify you by making some kind of noise. And then you would know that the readings are ready, and then you read them off.
Yeah.
You can tell us the units. In which units? In which units? Which units do we use to record temperature? This one everyone should be knowing. I think I should go through people who are not putting up their hands. For example, I'm landing on Mercy. Mercy, peace. Unmute and tell us. Mercy, I'm waiting for you. I have Susan. Susan is coming in. Yes, Susan?
Temperature is measured in degrees Celsius.
Exactly, degrees Celsius, okay? This one will have all done and will have seen. Though I expected someone to tell me that they've ever used the temperature gun to measure people's temperature. I'm very sure with the COVID situation we're in, they've been taking your temperature in school, at least at the beginning of the term and probably someday in the week. Not so? Anyone with that experience to tell us? El Shama?
Teacher, for me, I'm just asking that you said the temperature is recorded in degrees Celsius. What about Fahrenheit?
Someone is saying, what about Fahrenheit? Who can tell us? I want to first throw it back to the class. Who can tell us? Babidie? Nabidie, sorry.
Okay. I've unmuted, madam. Madam, to me, like,
yes.
Even can be height, but the most appropriate way is measuring it in centigrade.
Okay,
no, but when you go in America, they don't use Celsius, they use Fahrenheit. So there is no much rate.
But in Uganda, we mostly use the centigrade scale.
Okay,
why
so
why did we just say degrees?
You only want us to stop at degrees. It's okay if you say degrees, but at the end of the day, someone who puts the Celsius or the Fahrenheit would have a better answer. Okay, because we all know it doesn't stop at degrees. So either way, someone would be right, and you'd have a better answer than someone who is only saying degrees and stopping at that. Okay. Ime, yes. Ime, your hand is up.
Yes, teacher, you're asking us about the experience of a temperature gun. Yeah, teacher, for us at school, it would be morning, day, and then night. So this is what would be done. As for me, I would also take people's temperatures. So you get a temperature gun. Okay, it was most on the head you put. Then you press, there is a button on the temperature gun. You press it, then it will bring out the reading. As then it would make some sound like tip. Then the reading comes out in green. But if it brings out any other color, then we would doubt you.
Without being sure whether someone's temperature is normal or not, yeah?
Yeah, if it brings out any other color that it's not green. Sometimes it would bring out orange and red.
But even the readings would be there, not so?
Yes, the readings would be there.
Okay. So we have looked at weather, the definition and the elements. We've also looked at climate, its definition, and then the elements of climate. We are also saying we're going to look at how these elements are measured, the process that you go through, and then probably the instruments used and how they are recorded. Okay? So as we're starting, we said we need to look at how a climatic bar graph is drawn, or a climatic graph is drawn, okay? I have this. Just look at the table. Don't concentrate on the upper part, because most of us had not done this, though this was what I wanted us to discuss, but most of us have not done weather and climate, so there's no way I would take you to this. But I'm saying that when you look at the table on our screen, one, it is giving us the different months of the year. And then two, it is giving us the figures, the rainfall received in the different months of the year. And then it is also giving us the temperature in degrees Celsius. When you look at, for example, March, in terms of rainfall, we are saying the area received only 3 millimeters of rainfall in that month. I don't want us to forget that we said for weather, it is recorded daily. And it's from the units of weather that are recorded that would be able to get the units of climate that would be recorded for a long period of time. So you can imagine just them receiving 3 millimeters, then how much was received in a day. you'd find that for some specific days, there was actually no rain, okay? Even in some months in a year in March, there was still no rainfall that was recorded. So it is true that sometimes you can even have no rainfall recorded in a specific month. For instance, from our table, I hope you can clearly see the table. Can we? People, can we clearly see the table?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay. So we have those figures. When you look at November, December, January, and then February, there is no rainfall that was received in those months. Then March, April, May, probably September and October, you can see how low the rainfall was. It is only in July that they got 55 millimeters. Remember, we said recorded after 30 to 35 years. So you can imagine if those were 30 years and they could only record 85 millimeters. But we're saying it is a month where they mainly received rainfall. Okay? So looking at that, first of all, we have those months without any rain, and we have those that have little rainfall. Then when we look at the temperature recorded, for January it is 12. I know we are seeing a 1 and then a 2 down, but it's supposed to be 12. We have 15, 20, and the others. But the highest, who cannot help us to get the highest? In which month did we receive the highest temperature, and what was it? Yes, Imi? Imi, unmute.
Okay, teacher, the month was July and the temperature was 37 degrees Celsius.
Okay, it is mainly in July and they received 37 degrees Celsius. I hope we have all been able to see that. And then the lowest is, someone to tell us the lowest? Yes, here.
The lowest temperature was 1, and it was in the month of January.
But Hilary, we said it is 12, not 1, because you can see a 1 and then a 2. It's the space that was small, so the 2 went down, so it is 12.
Okay.
Okay. Judith, you're putting up your hand. Okay, it has gone down. So first of all, before we even go into drawing, can I give you 2 minutes to copy those figures very fast? You copy the figures very fast because I want us to do something. Two minutes only because I want to share another screen. And that is usually how a climatic table looks like. And from this table, they'll ask you to identify so many things. There's some calculations that you'd have to do. You have to draw a graph. You'd have to identify the characteristics. So we want to look at that. Are we done? Please let me know if you're done.
Teacher, or maybe screenshots can be taken instead.
Oh, actually, yes, thank you. People who are using your phones, please take a screenshot. Even with a laptop, you can do that. Joshua, you're done? Joshua, are you done? I'm seeing your hand up.
No, teacher, I had some internet connection issues. What are we supposed to be doing?
We are looking at that table, and we're looking at, it is actually a climatic table showing us the climate of a certain region, okay? And we're drawing it, but for now you can take a screenshot so that we can move a little faster.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want to share the whiteboard. So first of all, I talked about the different calculations that can be done, okay? Looking at the whiteboard, we want to see, we shall use this. So first of all, they will ask you to calculate the temperature range. Okay, that is the first task. Please write those down because I didn't write them. The temperature range. How are we going to be able to find that the temperature range? What is it that we have to do? Someone with an idea? People, any ideas if they asked you to find the temperature range? Shalon?
Temperature range. Yeah, temperature range means like the highest minus the lowest.
Highest what?
Highest temperature minus the lowest temperature.
Thank you very much. So we're saying if we're to find the temperature range, you are supposed to identify the highest temperature and the lowest temperature. Please remember to write the formula first, okay? So which one? We have already identified the highest and we said it was 37, not so? Minus 12, which was the lowest. Are we together? What answer are we getting? Hilary, what answer are you getting?
So our answer is 25 degrees.
Our answer is 25 degrees. 37 minus 12 gives us 25 degrees Celsius. The units are very important. You must put the units. Don't only write 25, but it has to be 25 degrees Celsius. Anyone who has not understood that one, temperature range? Yes, Hilary, you were saying something? Okay, he has declined. Now the next one is temperature, mean annual temperature. Mean annual temperature or mean monthly temperature. Anyone with an idea? How do we get this one? Yes, Gilbert.
We get the total of the temperature received throughout the year and we divide it by 12.
Okay, good. So we're saying we're going to get the total of the temperature received and we divide it by 12 months. Okay, mean monthly temperature. You divide by 12 months. I hope we are doing that. Can we try out that one? Waiting to see people's hands up. Gilbert, yes. Gilbert, unmute. Gilbert, we are waiting. Gilbert is failing to unmute. I don't know why. Anyone else who has finished? People, you're taking a lot of time. All you have to do is to add the figures for temperature. And then you divide by 12 months. Yes, Ruth?
It's done.
Sorry.
Teacher, I think it's 18.25 because I used manual calculator.
5.
Yes.
What was your total?
My total was 219.
219. Do we all have 219? Anyone else with 219 as the total? Faith, do you have the same? Faith, Imi?
Yes, I also had 219.
So when we divide 219 with 18, what do we get? Ruth said we get 18.25, which is 18.3, not so?
Yes.
Do we all have that? By show of hands, I want to see how many of us got 18.3. I'm seeing 3 people, 4. So we're saying that 1, we should know what to do. We're saying if they ask for mean monthly temperature, sometimes they actually say mean annual temperature. Please note, you have to find the total temperature of the year and you divide it by 12 months. Am I clear? Make sure you don't miss out on that. If it is for temperature, you're going to divide by 12 months. Favor, do you have a question? Your hand is up. Okay, it has gone down. So,
No
so we are
question.
saying, okay, thank you. When we say that when they ask for mean monthly temperature or mean annual temperature, please find the total and then you divide it by 12 months. That is a formula that you're going to use, but at the end of the day, the units should be in millimeters, okay? So we are saying that our mean monthly temperature is actually 18.3 degrees Celsius, okay? Then number 3, the other calculation that they will ask you to do.
Flavia.
Yes.
I think I miscalculated, I don't know, but the total
because is... tried it out, so I'm relying on you.
Teacher, it's wrong. I think I missed out a number. It's 311 as the total. Then, because in the first place, I just calculated using my book, but using the calculator, I seem to be getting 311 divided by 12, giving me 25. Again.
25, not even 23.
No.
It's giving you 25 what?
0.9.
25.9.
Yes.
So people, you need to try out that one, okay? Me, I'm giving you the formula that we are supposed to use. The others, have you seen that? Are we all getting that? Is it 18 or it's actually 25? Osham, yes?
25.
25, okay.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be...
It actually rounds up to 26.
Okay, someone would say 25.9 and then someone 26, okay? But it is usually important for us to round off to 1 decimal point. Don't give it as a whole number. You round it to 1 decimal point. I'm very sure even those that have been taking people's temperature using the temperature gun, you've been getting those points. Okay? Now what about mean annual? First of all, let's begin with the total rainfall received. Total rainfall received, what is it that we have to do? Yes, Barbara? Barbara, unmute. She has declined. Yes, Favor?
I think you just add okay, like there is also a section in the table on the row of rainfall in millimeters from January to December. You add all of them.
Okay, so you just add the rainfall received in the different months to get the total. Make sure you have 12 figures that you are adding. However, in our case, our table has 4 months where there was no rainfall received. That means we are adding for 8 months, okay? Whatever we get is the total rainfall received in a year. Anyone to give us the total rainfall? Someone who has added very fast. Yes, Evsham?
Teacher, for me, I'm just asking, don't you also add the zeros for the other months?
If you want in your calculations, you want to add them, it's okay, but you know it gives you the same answer.
But you said we are dividing by 8 instead of 12.
No, I didn't say we are dividing by 8. We are finding the total rainfall for now. Okay. And if we're finding the total rainfall, we are just adding. I said you add the 8 months, their figures, okay? Yes, Kellen? Kellen, unmute.
Thank you, teacher. The total rainfall is 198 millimeters.
198.
millimeters.
Don't you think you missed out on the 12th of January? Did you add the one for January? Sorry, not January is 0. You need to cross-check again and see if you have the right figure.
Okay.
Because mine is different from yours. Esther, yes? Esther, Favor?
Yeah, I have gotten 218 millimeters.
218 millimeters. Yes, that is the right answer, okay? Make sure you all have 218 millimeters. That is the total rainfall received in a year. Kellen, have you tried it out again? Helen, have you tried it again?
Yes.
Did you get 218 millimeters?
Yes, teacher.
That is good. So sometimes even in the exams, you might need to try it again the second time to see if you actually get a different answer or you get the same answer, okay? Now, mean annual rainfall. What is it that we have to do in the first place? Mean annual rainfall. Yes, Gilbert?
We find the total of the rainfall and divide it by 1.
We find the total of the rainfall and we divide it by 1. Gilbert, why are you saying we divide by 1?
According to what Archer told us, finding mean temperature, you divide by 12, and mean rainfall, divide by 1. You divide by 1 year.
Yes, you divide by 1 year. So, okay, thank you very much, Gilbert. I'm just putting emphasis on this, that when it comes to the average rainfall, we divide by 1, which is 1 year. But when it comes to temperature, we divide by the 12 months, okay? So asking for the total rainfall is the same as asking for the mean annual rainfall because you get the same figure. However, that word mean, which is asking for average, you must trust the working that we get the total rainfall divide by 1 year, okay? And it would still give you 218 millimeters, okay? So those are some of the calculations that we have to do, okay? Going back to our table, the other thing that we can do, because I'm seeing that the time might not be enough for me to go through the graph, the other thing they can ask you to is to identify the characteristics of this climatic region, okay? Identify the climatic characteristics of this region. Sometimes they might ask you to identify the region looking at the temperatures and then the rainfall received in the area. We have seen that 18 is actually very low temperature, rainfall. What do you think are some of the characteristics we identify using that? You just look at the table, and then I know in class probably looking at climate characteristics, but here they're saying they're using the table. So Gilbert, give us the first one. People, I hope you're noting them down.
It has 1 rainfall maximum.
Okay, so we're saying this area receives 1 rainfall season or 1 rainfall peak. That we only have 1 rainfall season, which begins in March, then up to October. Then from there, it disappears. And also we are seeing from July, it keeps on going down till it gets to 12 and then it disappears. Okay. Any other characteristic that you can identify? People, this is what I'm saying, that they can give you this table and you have to identify the climatic characteristics. Look at my, the heading for that. What does this? We said that I had a piece of land in the climatic region shown in the table below. Now we are going back to applying application of what we studied, what have been discussed. Your fathers acquired land in that area. One, we have said it was one rainfall season. Okay. Two, again, Gilbert.
It has rain shadows in January, February, November, and December.
Okay, so we're also noting that it has a dry season, which is between November to February. Someone else would give 1 point and say that this area receives dry season and season. Okay, another characteristic. Yes, Ime?
Well, teacher, you just say that it receives one dry season and one wet season, but then on the we have January, February, and at the end we see November, December. Wouldn't someone say two dry seasons, then one wet?
What you have to know is that rainfall or climate is continuous. Okay, it gets to December. When it gets to 31st December, it's not going to stop. It continues into January. Saying here that the dry season started in November and went on up to February. Then March, we started seeing some rainfall. Okay? If there was... You've seen it, yeah?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Yes, Gilbert. Gilbert? Okay, in the interest of time, I want us to identify these other characteristics. Now just helping you to see how to identify characteristics. Next time you'll find that I'll give you a table that might be different from this one. And I'll ask you to identify the climatic characteristics. First of all, when you look at the rain, we already came up with the total rainfall, which is 218 millimeters. So we are saying that the area receives low rainfall, which is 218 millimeters. So don't stop at it be receiving low rainfall, but you go ahead and state the figure that this is the rainfall that is received. Because we are saying anything that is below 500 is low. Then 500 to 1,000, it is moderate. And above that, we are saying it is heavy or it is wet. Okay, so in this case, we are saying that the area receives low rainfall, which is 218 millimeters. Then the second one, we are saying that the area receives unreliable rainfall, because we are seeing those months that don't have any rainfall: November, December, January, and February. So that makes the rainfall unreliable. If it was, if we had rainfall in all the months, then we would say the area receives reliable rainfall. But here we are saying it gives unreliable rainfall. The other characteristic is that the temperature is big. That's 25 degrees Celsius. Remember, we calculated the temperature range. So if you're saying it is big, and how do you know that it is big? It ranges between 0 to 5, it is small. 6 to 12, it is medium or it is moderate. And above 12, it is big. So in this case, we're saying that the temperature range is big, and you state the temperature range. We already identified its it receiving one rainfall season or one rainfall peak. Then the average temperature, we said average temperature is 25.9 degrees Celsius. That is the mean, okay? 5.9 degrees Celsius. The hottest month, now I go into that, I'm saying the hottest month is July with a figure of 37 degrees Celsius. So I'm stating the month and I'm also stating the figure where I'm saying it is the hottest. The driest month are from November to February. And others, okay? But what you have to know is that you look at the rainfall figures and then you'd be able to state some characteristics from there. You also look at the temperature and be able to state some characteristics from there. So those figures would give you the characteristics. Find the total rainfall, then tell us if it is moderate, low, or it is actually heavy. Then find the temperature range and tell us whether it's big or small. Tell us if rainfall is received throughout the year or it is actually not received throughout the year. Then here, maybe the other one that I'd skipped is that temperature is, the temperatures are hot. Already saw that the average temperature is 25.9 degrees Celsius. That makes it to be hot and others. So what am I saying? Is that when they ask you to find the characteristic, yes, you're going to describe, but don't forget to include the figures. Okay? Any questions for me? Any questions for me? Our class leader said that we have to use the last 20 minutes to go through our project work. And I want to shift to that, but I wanted to see if there are any questions. Yes, we have learned how to describe how to come up with the characteristics. We have learned how to do the different calculations, that is total rainfall, mean annual temperature, mean annual rainfall, and then the temperature range. Those are usually the ones that they ask. Then we learned the definition of weather and climate, and then their elements. Yes.
For me, I was asking that when we're on that table, is there any way where we divide one when we are in?
That is for rainfall.
We divide by 1.
Yes, you divide by 1 year.
What's the reason?
What is the reason? The reason is that annual is 1 year.
Then for temperature, it's 12.
And they usually say mean monthly temperature.
Okay, teacher.
But we also said that just in case, you know, sometimes they use words to confuse you. If they say mean annual temperature, again, you divide by 12 because we all know you can't have temperature. It is, what was our temperature? The total temperature was 311 degrees Celsius. We can't have 311 degrees Celsius. So you divide by 12 months, okay? Any other question? So we shall finish with this by going through that, how to draw a climatic graph if they give us more time, and then for us to complete this scenario that I wanted you to look at, okay? But just know that here you should be able to tell me if your father bought that piece of land in that region. First of all, give us the climatic type of that region, okay? And identify the characteristics. Then we shall begin from there. Okay, questions? We have our project. Is waste management. Ruth?
Teacher?
Ruth, is that so?
Yes.
Is that so? Yes, a project management We have done our research and we're compiling our data. So I want to know from the different participants. It is my prayer that 10 people can present. Tell us how far you have gone, what you have done in your area. Probably learn from you, and I manage the waste in my area the way you are doing it. Ruth, do we start with you?
I made a presentation.
Yes, Hilary. Hilary is going to start.
Teacher, am I supposed to give a presentation about how we manage our wastes in our community?
Yes, the project was given to you to do with waste management. So what have you researched on so far?
Well, the way how we manage wastes in our community is most houses are modern, and every time people do their business, it goes to a septic tank. For some people, they use it as biogas. Some people divert it to their gardens and plantations, and others use it as what? Yeah. My presentation is there.
Oh, thank you. So here is looking at actually human waste and how it is managed in the different areas, where you are saying that for him where he's staying, the community is a little modern, probably have toilets, okay, or eco toilets, where all the waste would go to a septic tank, okay? Yeah. And with that, we're managing it, but his father telling us that they use this waste to generate biogas. Some of them are using it as manure. He's yet to tell us what the process they go through for them to be able to make biogas. Remember, when we talk about waste management, we have waste in different forms, yes, okay? Even rubbish, the peelings from our food, the plastics, the papers, and everything, all that is waste, okay? Yes. And how best are we looking at that one?
Well,
Helen. Oh, sorry. Before Helen comes in, do you want to add?
That she tells you how it is made.
Okay.
Well, I have a little bit of clues on how it is made. Biogas is not made from any waste management. You won't get human wastes and make biogas through human wastes. For human wastes, it's humus. You put it in the gardens and plantations and make humus. Well, for biogas is made through cow dung and organic humus and manure. Like, for example, peelings, pods of beans and others. I think you connect, yeah?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Helen, how far have you gone with your project?
Thank you, teacher. Actually, in our places, we manage wasting like recycling. Like recycle those bottles, and another way, make sure that you segregate your waste into different types. To ensure proper.
Into different what?
Into different types to ensure proper waste removal. Like the different types are the liquid waste, e.g. urine, dirty water. Then another type solid rubbish, e.g. those, let me see, the solid rubbish, leaves like that. Then the organic waste, then the inorganic waste. The organic waste, these are the wastes that can easily be inorganic, the ones that cannot be decomposable. Yeah.
Okay, so from Helen's submission, she's saying for them in their community, they actually, if I may use my own words, that they sort rubbish. Okay, that it is very important for us to learn how to sort rubbish and then put it into different grades. Okay, we have the biodegradables and the non-degradables. Okay, so you need to know those that are going to rot, that they can help you to make manure, and know where to decompose them and know where to actually dispose them of. For example, if you have a small garden somewhere at home, even if it was a big garden, you could dig a pit. Okay, so when you dig a pit, then you put that rubbish into that pit. Only that's the one that is biodegradable. In the process, it would be able to make manure. Actually, after some time, when the pit is full, then you cover it with soil. Then the others, we are saying you sort them out. The papers, you can burn them. The plastics, we don't burn plastics, but you could probably take them to areas where they can recycle them from. Okay, the whereas you can also burn them, but they don't contaminate the soil. So that is Kellen and her submission and how they sort the rubbish. So I'm saying that even in school, at home, sometimes you might be forced to have about 2 or 3 dustbins, okay? In those dustbins, you label them because not everyone would know how to use them. So when you label them, then I would know where I put the leftover food, I put where to put the varras and the papers, and where to put the plastic so that you don't mix them. Otherwise, when you mix them, you'd be forced to throw them in whichever pit and where it is found. It might be found in your garden, and we'll find there the varras and plastics in your garden. Ime, for you, what have you done? Those are 3 so far now. I said I need 10.
Teacher, in our homestead, for us to find it simple in that the truck comes after every 1 week. So we keep this rubbish in temporary bins, temporary dustbins. It may be a sack or a box. In that, when you buy something in the box, let's say biscuits, you don't get to throw away that box, but then use it as a bin to wait on Sunday. It always comes on Sunday. Okay. So Sunday morning, that's when you carry the bins of rubbish, then you take to that truck, then the process continues like that.
Do you have to pay some money?
No, teacher, we don't pay because it's written on, like, it's free, like NGOs, non-government, so they find it free, like it's free. That's what they told us. So we just take as in for free.
Okay. So that is a very good community, but you might find in other communities where actually people have to pay for this, and they usually give you big buveras where you put your rubbish for them. They just come. You know that day they are coming, like she said on a Sunday, put it outside the gate, and then they'll come and pick it and take the rubbish. Though there is a scenario of expecting them to come and they don't show up. Okay, but at least you know that they would come and they take the rubbish. But even then, we're saying we need to sort that rubbish. I don't know if you are like me that have seen trucks taking away this rubbish, but it is all mixed up with plastics, buveras, then the biodegradable ones, and then you wonder, okay, where they're going to dispose of this rubbish. Fiona? Fiona? Hey, Fiona's gone. Yes, Ruth.
Teacher, for me, I made a presentation.
and I wanted to share it.
Okay.
But teacher, it's on screen, though your work is still on.
Oh, so I can unshare.
Thank you. Teacher, that's the screen.
We are waiting, it's still coming. Ruth, is it you who has to double click or me?
Yes, teacher.
We're still waiting for the screen. I don't know if the other is okay.
You're not yet seeing it?
Not yet.
Okay, let me reshare.
You click on what you want to share and then say share.
Teacher, can you see it now?
Yes. I don't know if it's only me. I can't hear the words.
Teacher, let me share it with, with the sound.
Okay.
Everyone, my name is Namakula Jeru, a Form 2 student at Mengo Senior School. I am going to talk about waste management. What is a waste? A waste is an unusable material or substance that has been disregarded from the environment. What have you ever heard of? Did you know that wastes produced by a person per day equals to about 740 grams? And globally, annually, the amount of waste released is 2.01 billion tons. How can we manage these wastes? Before we go on, we have different kinds of wastes. First, there are organic wastes, which are called non-biodegradable wastes. Second, we have the inorganic wastes, which can also be called non-biodegradable wastes. In this presentation, you're going to find out more about these kinds of wastes. Let us take a look at the organic wastes. So these are the organic wastes and the way we manage them. Did you know that organic wastes are one of the biggest contributors to global warming? In this pit, we have organic wastes. The compost, which we can call compost manure. It is the food material, the food stuffs, the leftover foods that are thrown here, and the rest of the other organic things like leaves, as you see. But as for the leaves, they take long to decompose. So we lay them on top and the rest are down. The banana peelings go down, and then all the other foods, the leftovers, remain there and are covered by these banana peelings. And these sugarcane leaves plus the banana leaves that are dried or used up for cooking matoke. So after we lay them on top, we are handling two things here, two types of organic wastes. The real ones that really can rot easily, that do not take so much time to rot, and then these ones. Since these ones, the leaves that are on top, do not rot easily, we just lay them at the top to dry so that we can use them as manure in our garden. Then the downer ones, we still use this as an advantage to cover the organic wastes, the ones that rot easily. We use it as an advantage to cover them so that they keep absorbing the moisture. How do we do this? We keep pouring water that has no soap or any detergent or chemicals so that they keep on soaking and soaking, which speeds up the rate of decomposition. So when it comes to time with manuring, we will get a spade, exchange them at the top, and then use them to manure. That's how we manage organic wastes to control global warming. Now we are going to look at the ways we manage our organic wastes in my environment. In my environment, organic wastes are kept in a certain bag for some time, and when they keep on piling up, we use them, we get them out, maybe dry them if they are wet, and then after that we see the plastics and the polythene, we set them aside and they are taken for recycling by the different scrap people. They are separated in plastics, polythenes, and then the metals that would be in. Then these others, the papers and everything, we do this recycling to reduce on the number of items we burn, so that also to reduce the global warming. So why do we do this? And if we do this, what is the cause? When we continue to do the 5 R's, that is refusing, reducing, recycling, and reusing, then repurposing. We do this and then also recovering. We have to do this because it is going to lead to a circular economy. What do I mean by a circular economy? We can take a look at a life cycle. It keeps on in a circle. A circular economy extends the life of the different products which we have globally. So when we continue with the circular economy, it will prolong the life of the products that we have, reducing on the pollution in our environment. This will lead to a better environment, a better economy. As we know, we celebrated Earth's Day some days back, and the motto of Earth's Day was about climate change. We need to solve and curb the problems of climate change. Remember, be part of the solution, not the pollution. And when you refuse to reuse the earth, you abuse it. Let me repeat it correctly. When you refuse to reuse.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I hope we have all learned, or we have picked something from her presentation. That was very good. And I want to encourage the others that can we please catch up with our project, okay? How should we manage the waste in our community? And when we say our community, let's not only focus on our home area, because probably for us, we might be doing it the right way. But what about our neighbors and even